what's up everybody? Welcome
Hello,
to
guys.
another weekly Wednesday live stream. I'm Peter.
I'm Ja.
And thank you also to the colleague who was trolling on the MSI account in the chat.
Appreciate it.
We like that banter. Alright, so today we have something very nice for you, of course. We're going to be talking about... Ta-da! Oh, yeah, we've got some nice clipping going on here, of course. It's an Nvidia, it's a green box, and there's a chroma key active.
Yep.
Anyway, 1660 Super. We're going to be telling you all about the GPU itself, what is different, what kind of performance you can expect, and of course also we're going to be taking a closer look at this model itself, so the Gaming X variant. And of course we also have a giveaway.
Of course,
right?
As always.
Wouldn't be a live stream without a giveaway now, would it?
Exactly.
So there you go.
Go to the above link, msi.com/2/insider, and there you can perform a few actions. The more actions you perform, the more chance you have at winning one of the Steam codes, because we'll have more coming up. So if you didn't win on the first draw, don't worry, there's going to be more. So.
Yep.
And once you have already performed the actions, you don't have to do it again because you're already in the pool.
Yes. For this stream, at least.
Exactly, for the entire stream. So good luck, guys. And if it doesn't work, if the link doesn't work for you, just keep a track of the chat, because there's going to be a direct link in the chat.
Yep.
So wish you guys luck.
And that should be like every 8 minutes or something.
Yeah,
the bot's
there's an
going to
interval,
repost it, right?
yeah.
It's going to spam you guys
We have
with the link.
upgraded. We have now a bot that replies for us now.
Yep.
Very nice.
Yep.
So,
all right. By the way, if you have any questions, just post them in the chat. We'll try and answer them.
Yeah, somebody's already asking for a free sample.
Yeah. Unfortunately, no. Is that left guy Dutch? Well, one of us is Dutch. I'm not going to tell you which one. Actually, it's both of us.
Technically, yes.
Spoiler. Anyway, also somebody's saying the monitors look dope. Can you say anything about these monitors, Ja? You're the monitor guy, right?
Yeah. Actually, these are two different monitors, as you can see on the backside. Different RGB structures too.
Yep.
And here we have our most premium ones, the MPG series. So our performance series, the MPG 27CQ. And there we have the MAG, which is also very great for gaming, the MAG 271CQR. So both are Quad HD. I
think I see something nice here in the side that I can actually pull out.
This is just, a nice little feature, so you don't have to throw a headphone around on your table anymore. It's just something small, but I find it personally very useful.
Exactly. It's the details.
Yeah. If you want to find out more information about the models, there's tons of information on our YouTube channel. We did live stream, we did product videos. So just go to our MSI Gaming Live YouTube, or go to a website, and you can find all the information that you might need. If you want to know something else, just drop them in the chat, and we'll do our best to answer everything we can.
Exactly. All right. So
the Super.
Let's start out with the Super. I've actually made some slides for you guys, so it's a little bit easier to explain everything. Let's see if we can go to the slides. Yes, there we go. All right. So GeForce GTX 1660 Super. Now, if at this point you are a bit confused or overwhelmed by the sheer amount of that been launched based on Nvidia's Turing architecture, you're not the only ones.
Don't be ashamed.
Yeah, even for us, we're in this business for a long time, for years already, and it's quite extreme. It's not to say that's a bad thing. It means for us it's a hell of a lot of work, because obviously, and also for our technical people, each and every GPU has to be custom made. The graphics card, the cooling, so. It's a hell of a lot of work. It's been a busy year, and it looks like, at least next month there's going to be another GPU launching as well, which was also announced, the 1650 Super. So yeah, it's been a hell of a year. But let's just take a quick look at what does the Nvidia product stack, the GPU stack, look like right now, because it's 12 GPUs, right?
Yeah. And maybe before I even dive into it, there was like a nice question from someone, and seeing Peter is the GPU god, he was asking, he's planning on purchasing a RTX 2060 Super, but he's doubting whether he should wait for the 3000 series.
Here's the thing: there's always going to be a next series, but
every year,
until you really see Nvidia talking about it or unveiling a new architecture or something, it's probably still quite far away. And this is not to say I have no idea how far away, but usually what I would recommend is just make your decision based on what's on the market now. A lot of people already, for the past 1.5 years or at least a year, have been saying just wait until Navi is out. And I mean, that's out now, so you've got competition. That's also showing because, especially from this product as well, you get more performance for a lower price. So in all respects, you are getting quite a nice bit of performance for less than top dollar, as in, less than the launch price. So yeah, it's a pretty good moment, I guess. And 2060 Super is also a quite nice card. I mean, here's the thing, I also don't know what resolution you're gaming at. I think this card is really great up until definitely 1440p. You can pretty much kill it with that. But up until 4K, you'll probably struggle a bit maybe.
It's not the right time yet for 4K.
Yeah, I mean, well, 2080 Ti will do the job, obviously, and 2080 Super as well, but yeah, that's a bit extreme. But yeah, I mean, so 2060 Super, yeah, I'd say that's pretty good value for money, but it's up to you.
Especially nowadays, you can still enjoy some nice ray tracing functionalities as games keeps getting more and more optimized for it.
Yep.
So you have that going.
Yeah, exactly. So you do have the ray tracing possibility. All right, so let's dive into it a little bit more. Here's the lineup. So as you can see, on the left side, you have all the RTX 20 series, which started with the non-supers, of course, and later on they added all the super models, which are more powerful. So they're somewhere in between. For example, the 2080 Ti and the 2080, you got 2080 Super, etc. And we're seeing a relatively similar process now going on with the GTX 16 series. To recap just a little bit, the 16 series are based on the Turing architecture. However, they don't have the dedicated ray tracing cores and the dedicated tensor cores. So, but they do have, for the most part at least, for example, the faster and better Nvidia encoding compared to last generation. So the 1660 Super, what's different about it? So now that we have the overview and we see, okay, so that's a hell of a lot of GPUs. It's 12, guys. Let that sink in for a moment. So what is different about it? Well, we made this overview here. Notice that we didn't include any specs of the GPU itself because that is identical to the original 1660. It has the same amount of CUDA cores, the same amount of ROPs and TMUs and whatever. Same exact clock speeds even, when at least from Nvidia, the spec. So what is different, you might ask? Well, here's the difference basically. It's a 1660 with GDDR6 memory. The original 1660 used GDDR5 memory, which was clocked at a 8 gigabit per second speed. This 1660 Super is using GDDR6 memory clocked at 14 gigabit per second. So that's quite a big gain right there.
And there are actually a lot of questions regarding 1440p, 1080p game performances. Actually, in just a moment, we'll show you everything that you need to know about it. Also the comparison with, for example, someone's asking regarding RX 580. You'll also see that in just a moment. Actually, we can tell him that he can see that, right?
No, well, yeah, we'll get to the benchmarks in a moment, guys. So indeed, it's a good question. So, but for a moment, we also want to look at the difference with the 1660 Ti, because also coming up, you will see that the difference in performance is very close. And if you've seen any of the reviews already, you'll see that the 1660 Super is actually super close in terms of performance to the 1660 Ti.
How many of those kind of puns are we going to drop this?
I don't know. I'm going to try to keep them to a minimum because I think everybody's doing them for a while already.
Superb.
Yeah, nice. All right. But you can also see that compared to the 1660 Ti, which is also using GDDR6 memory, the Ti is using 12 gigabit per second speed. So that's actually slower than the memory speed of the 1660 Super. However, it's also good to note that the speed of the 1660 Super memory, GDDR6 memory, is the same speed as what you will find on the RTX 20 series card. So that's also 14 gigabit per second GDDR6 memory. Are you guys still with me?
Yeah, I see that Eric's trying to give me away, and somebody's already offering to take me.
Uh-oh.
Thank you. I guess.
I don't know who pays for shipping, though.
Yeah, so I'll walk.
Yeah. Anyway, so I hope this at least makes it a bit clearer as what to what the most important differences are of the 1660 Super compared to the previous 1660 and also the 1660 Ti. So if you have any questions about that, you can also ask them in the chat. We'll try and tell you about it. Yeah, Eric's just opening the door with a little sign going giveaway Ja.
Everybody's saying giveaway, 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 giveaway.
Yeah, I know. We already announced it.
Yeah,
it's okay. Yes, we did.
Yeah. Eric, you need to pay attention.
Yeah, man.
You need to pay
Watch
attention.
the stream. Anyway, okay, so cool. You guys are still with me, that's good. All right, so on to the next point then. The benchmark. So you guys were asking for this, so what kind of performance can you look at? So of course this is an average based on a number of games. So per game it will differ, obviously. Some games like esports games, competitive games, they will be give you a higher FPS because they're not that demanding usually. Other, AAA new games that are using the latest visual technologies will, of course, demand a bit more of your card. So you'll get a bit lower FPS. Anyway, this is on average 1080p Ultra. So here you can see just how close the performance is compared to the 1660 Ti. I've also drawn a line there, the red line, 60 FPS. That's kind of what we, want to see as like the minimum of what we recommend. Do keep in mind, this is when everything is put on Ultra, so this is all the highest settings. So of course you can play around with the settings a bit and it can make a difference. And I mean, for 1080p Ultra, yeah, I mean 81 FPS. And remember, if you just put some settings down from Ultra, you can probably get above 100 quite easy.
So here it really delivers the name Super.
Yeah, I mean this card is definitely able to do 1080p Ultra, and I mean in this day and age you would expect that, right? That's to be expected. So not surprising, but good to know. Moving on then, 1440p Quad HD. Also, well, this is I think the fastest growing segment of monitors, right?
Yeah,
so
this is also really where the trend is going in.
Yeah, so chances are most of you guys will either already have 1440p or be considering moving to 4040p at some point. So here you can see it's just below the 60 FPS mark on average. Still very close to the 1660 Ti. There's a relatively big gap with the original 1660, as you can see. Yeah, so quite impressive performance bump there, especially considering that the price for the 1660 Super is relatively close to the original launch price of the GTX 1660. So that means basically that for almost the same price, just a little premium, you'll get 1660 Ti levels of performance, pretty much. So I don't think that's a bad thing, right?
No, I think especially for you guys, that want to play at 1440p and you're interested in the 1660 Super, you want to play everything on Ultra, it doesn't really matter it's like at 57, because sometimes you can just tweak like one or two little settings, setting the tessellation or the cloud settings to a bit lower, and voila, you have 60 FPS plus.
Yeah. Why is the 1660 Ti more powerful? Rashlord is asking, or
Don't try.
Damn, all right, anyway.
Sometimes
it's down to the GPU itself. It has actually more CUDA cores. I think about 128 or something off the top of my head more. So the GPU itself actually has more power. Even though its memory is a little bit slower than the 1660 Super memory. So that's purely the GPU core there showing the difference. That's to answer your question right there.
Yeah, so Ti is more powerful than Super.
Yeah.
A lot of people
but as you can see, only just. I mean, to be honest, this kind of difference you can very easily make up by doing a light overclock or something. This is even within margins of error, as you would say. It's really within like 1 or 2% of performance mostly.
Is it worth upgrading from GTX 1070? That's a good question.
in general, it depends. Are you asking if it's worth upgrading to the 1660 Super from a 1070? Because if that's your question, I would say probably. I don't know. It's in terms of performance, it will be quite close. So I don't think it will be a big upgrade. However, you do get the Turing architecture,
newer technology,
exactly, and the better encoding and stuff like that. So there are some benefits, yes, but to be honest, the performance between a GTX 1070 and a 1660 Super, I expect to be very close. As you can also see, we've included the 1060 6GB card here. That's 40 FPS on average. That's a gap, but the 1070 should be quite close to the 1660 Super performance.
Yeah, we'll play Call of Duty in a moment. Maybe.
Yeah. Calm down.
And Eric is already being called on because somebody's already saying, let Eric stream next week. So Eric, I know you're listening, so you know what to do next week.
Exactly. Make sure you guys tell Eric that he should be on next week again. We know you guys love him. Okay, cool. So if you guys have any other questions, let us know. We'll try to answer them in the chat to give you at least some idea of the differences or any upgrade advice. That's what we're here to give. So even 4040p, concluding from this slide and from the performance data, it's okay for 4040p, I would say. But you have to be willing to maybe in some games at least, tweak some settings away from the highest, from the ultra settings, and then you'll be easily able to get over 60 FPS at least. But if you're into the FPS shooters, for example, like Call of Duty, there you really want to go for 100 FPS or higher. You probably have higher refresh rate monitors as well, like 144 Hertz. That's you always want to get a bit higher there. But it's ultimately down to you and what your preference is.
Yeah, so a lot of fun going on with Eric and the rest.
Nice.
But
this world needs more Eric. Yes, we have spoken.
So Peter, if you had like a 1060, would you upgrade it to 6060 Super?
Yeah, I think that's a meaningful upgrade. Yeah, I mean,
definitely agree.
Especially if you're, the 1060 and the 6060 Super, there's a big gap. There's
a huge gap, as you can see already on the graph.
That's like 50% extra performance. So, yeah.
So that's your answer.
Yeah. Oh, somebody was asking this.
Yeah. So I just rephrased it a bit differently.
Yeah. So would it be, iCritical is asking, would it be worth to spend the money for the 66 Super or save a little bit more for the 2060? That's ultimately down to you. I mean, as you can see here, they're actually included both in this slide. And it also depends on your resolution, obviously. 2060 Super does have more horsepower, so if you want to play on 4040p, for example, the 2060 Super will give you more performance. But it also depends on the price and if you value how much you value the additional ray tracing ability of the 2060 Super versus the 1660. But in terms of performance, 2060 Super will give you a lot of extra performance.
So Christmas is near, but you still have some time to think about it.
Yeah. Who knows? Black Friday is also coming up. Maybe you have some good deals. Always nice checking it. And then looking at, we're looking also at 4K. It's not really a card meant for 4K, and that's why also we didn't choose the Ultra preset, but the Medium preset. So this is already compromising a lot in terms of visual quality. But that's the way to go if you want to do 4K with this card, I guess. And then you average around 45 FPS. Again, very close to the 1660 Ti. But yeah, if you really want to go into 60 FPS territory, even on medium, you're going to go with 2060 Super or higher. And if you really want to do the Ultra, then you're going to be looking at 2080 Super or 2080 Ti. That's kind of the reality as it is at the moment. Is the 6060 Ti better for content creation than the 1660 Super? Ooh, that's a good question. It really depends on what program you're using. Some will benefit more from the faster bandwidth, the faster memory speed of the 1660 Super. Some will benefit a bit more from the extra cores that you have on the 1660 Ti. So it's really a trade-off, but it's probably quite close, I would say. It's not something you would notice very quickly.
On paper, you know, I wouldn't lose sleep over this.
No. I think either one will be, yeah. But in general, Steven Johnson is right. The 1660 Ti is better than the 1660 Super. Though, yeah, I mean, the differences are very small, to say the least.
Yeah, it doesn't make the 1660 Ti useless.
No, definitely not. I mean again, it's a different card a little bit. It's just a bit faster. It has more cores.
Yeah.
It also has a little bit of a higher price, so that does make the 1660 Super quite interesting, I would say, as a value proposition.
Yeah.
You know how much FPS you get for what you're spending. But again, you know, even the 1660 Ti is still a very valid card, I would say. Yeah. All right, so that's 4K pretty much. What else is there? Well, besides the new GPU, and you know, I've seen people, you know, being a bit like, also some media, you know, like, oh yeah, it's the so manyth card, and we can probably, you know, you can guesstimate pretty much the performance based on the specs, and to be fair, that's quite accurate. So that's true. However, Nvidia also added some other things which can be quite interesting. At least for me, they are quite interesting. For example, improved image sharpening in game. So they added a feature in the Nvidia control panel. I'll show you the guys that later as well, where you can apply image sharpening in games that are, yeah, pretty much go without any. I don't think actually you get any performance hit from it either. And as you can see here, this is an example that Nvidia provided, obviously. Yeah, it does really make a difference. So it makes everything look a bit nice, sharper. I can remember in the old days where you would use reshade, for example, in PUBG to also make things a bit more crisp and a bit more sharp.
Oh yeah, you were really the PUBG guy back in the day.
No, not really. It was one of those things where I had to try it, and yeah, you know, once you spend the money, you don't want to get your worth out of it. So, but yeah, so reshade was one of the things there as well, and we'll come back to reshade. But anyway, so here's where you can find it. I'll show it to you guys later on as well, but you get some options there. You can actually find, it's not like an on and off toggle, just an on and off toggle. So you can also even determine the amount of sharpening or film grain, you know, that kind of stuff. You could play around with it and see which setting you prefer most. So yeah, I mean, that's nice. It's a nice extra. And then also we have the Nvidia ultra low latency response time. And they call the feature NULL or null. I guess that's a reference to, you know, the lower response time, trying to get to the 0 response, maybe, I don't know. Anyway,
good thinking there.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's you can see here they did some testing. You have actually two settings in this feature. You have on and ultra. I don't know. There are plenty of descriptions out there, very technical, how it works exactly, and then how it achieves the result. But as you can see, the settings, the different settings, do seem to achieve, yeah, good levels of reduced latency.
Yeah, quite significant in some games.
Yeah, especially like the Division.
Yeah,
you know, some games more than others, so that's also interesting. It's also good to see that games like Apex Legends actually is relatively stable. So there is a difference when you put it on Ultra, but on or off, you know, that's only one millisecond difference, so it's not too big. Anyway, yeah, also very interesting, and also something you can toggle on and off in your Nvidia drivers. So here you can see this is the, it also has G-Sync support, by the way, just to make sure that you can also have this gameplay without tearing. So also your variable, yeah, synchronizing on your V-Sync and G-Sync. So that's also a nice benefit. And again, you know, this is how you can apply it in the menu. I'll show you this, guys, later, because once you update to the newest drivers, which were I think yesterday released, so if you upgrade them, then you'll see these options appear in the Nvidia menu. And of course, here we go, reshade. So this is what I mentioned earlier. Yeah, Nvidia have now officially integrated reshade support directly into their software into their drivers. So that's pretty cool. You can download a list of pre-applied presets indeed, or filters that have been pre-approved and stuff like that. So and you can put them into a folder in your Nvidia. It's a bit dodgy. It's not like an install file. You actually have to place, unzip the files into a folder. I think it's the Ansel folder actually. So they've made it kind of, I guess, part of Ansel for them. But it's pretty cool. You can really like put filters and skins over your in real time as well, in how your game looks in real time. It really changes how the game looks as well. Maybe we can show you guys that as well. I've been playing around with it a little bit, and some filters seem to be working just fine, some not so much. Also, don't know if Call of Duty is already officially supported to do this feature.
Still quite relatively new.
Yeah, exactly. But that's pretty much it for the new features from Nvidia. Any questions?
Yeah, somebody is asking regarding the support, and you guessed it right already. We would love to help you with your laptop issue that you might have, that you have actually, but we can't do anything. And somebody already answered in chat actually that you need to go to the support system, and that's actually
the best way.
The best way, the most efficient way for you to get your answer.
Exactly. Then you get in touch with people who are dedicated support and are trained to get to the core of your problem and help you out as quick as possible. We are just grasping at straws. We can give you some, suggestions or advice based on our personal experience, but to be fair, we're nowhere near as qualified to provide support as.
So we appreciate that you're in the chat watching the stream, and we wish we could have been more of help to you.
Yeah. Dragon Game is asking, do the filters cause FPS drops in games? That's a great question. I don't know. We can check it out. So I hope not, but I could imagine. I mean, some of these filters are quite extensive. I've seen one that changes everything to ASCII style, or everything is built up out of symbols. So I can imagine that kind of really tasking the GPU, or asking for resources from whatever is doing the calculating on that. So
you're getting more and more stuff to test. If the list gets longer, you can start your own review channel.
Yeah. No, but
that GPU guy.
This is just interesting as well, and I played around with it a little bit yesterday, but didn't have that much time, so I also don't have all the answers to that yet. All right, and then also of course I want to highlight the cards that we have based on the 1660 Super. So, and of course we're calling it the GTX 16 Super Series graphics card because also Nvidia announced the 1650 Super coming up, which is also based on the exact same GPU. Contrary to the current 1650, which is based on a different GPU and, for example, did not have the improved Turing encoder before. Well, at the moment it doesn't have it, but the Super is supposed to have that. So that's quite interesting as well. So if you're, for example, doing some light streaming and just 1080p gaming, I guess that card will be plenty for that.
Easier.
Yeah, it will make quite a difference. But here, as you can see, our product lineup for the 16 Super Series cards is or will be the Gaming X, which we also have here in front of us. That's of course our top model with the iconic Twin Forcer 7. We'll go through the rest of the features in a little bit. We see on the left side the Ventus XS, which is XS of course stands for extra small, which is a smaller version of the popular Ventus series. And of course we have the Aero ITX, which is even smaller because it needs to fit in small form factor systems like ITX builds, on an ITX motherboard, that kind of stuff. So these are pretty much the cards that we will be offering or already are offering in your neighborhood. It depends.
Yeah, so get a chance, check it out.
Yeah. So let's maybe first draw our first winner, and then we'll dive into.
Sounds good.
The deep dive.
Actually, somebody found the Easter egg because somebody noticed my face is being photoshopped somewhere in the background.
Yep. Yeah, right above me actually. There you go. That little soldier guy.
So yeah, guys, if you just joined, well, right on top there, you can go to msi.com/do/insider and participate in our giveaway for the Steam Dollar wallet code. And if you haven't registered yet, you can go perform a few actions there. The more you do, the more chances you have at winning. So good luck with that. If you have already registered, don't worry, you're still in the pool. And let's see who the first winner is of today.
Yeah.
Let's see. Usually this is the part where we're going to argue who's going to pronounce the name.
Depends, yeah.
I'm just going to call Shotgun.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not going to do it.
You're not going to do it. Well, you're at least going to have to put it on the big screen for me.
Actually, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because this one's an easy one, so you can take the next one.
Sure.
So happy dude. Congratulations. I hope you do something nice with it, buy a nice game or something. And enjoy.
Yep.
And to the rest of you guys, good luck, because there's more coming.
Yep.
Oh, and if the link doesn't work for you in the banner, just wait for the chat, because there's going to be a direct link in the chat in a few minutes.
Yeah, every few minutes will be reposted, basically. So you can see it there. I'm also seeing, sad you guys stepped away from the black and red color schemes on the cards. Yeah, you know, it's one of those things where I personally loved it as well. Very recognizable, and it's a color combination I really loved. But a lot of people had problems with it or didn't like it, and especially when you combine, you know, two very specific colors, or at least one, you know, red, with the ability to do RGB.
Yeah.
It kind of doesn't make sense, you know, because it does kind of limit what looks good. So in that respect, we try to give at least, you know, you guys as much possibility as possible to customize whatever you want and use the RGB to its fullest potential.
And I gotta say, if you look at the design of the Gaming X, I don't think anyone can complain.
No, I mean, it looks pretty good. But I mean, you know, this is always a thing of, you know, personal taste where
definitely,
you can't, unfortunately, you can't please everybody. But I really like that, you know, there are some people calling back, you know, for, you know, bring back the black and red. It's a bit nostalgic for me as well.
Maybe we will. The more feedback we have, the bigger the chance.
Yeah. All right, so in the meantime, let's look at this card as well. So let's take it out of the box.
It is time, I guess.
Yes. So this is also like a little bit of unboxing, I guess. I'll just put the keyboard away.
I did believe I quickly read a comment, a question for someone asking what kind of keyboard was on the table. I think that one's quite new, right?
This one is the GK30, yes. Bigger GK30. So it's quite nice. It's very sturdy. It's not the most expensive of keyboards because it does not use mechanical keys, or switches, I should say. But it does use, I don't know if we can zoom in on this a little bit, but you know, some box style membrane switches, which does make it feel very, very sturdy, and you know, it really doesn't wobble or anything. It's really sturdy and really nice, solid typing. So in that respect, in some ways, I even prefer it sometimes above mechanical keyboards in its own way. It's very enjoyable. It also has, you know, nice features where you can just go through the effects with the hotkeys and stuff like that. So that's it's really cool. Anyway, we did a whole stream about this, by the way. If you want more information about this keyboard, you can find some movies online on our YouTube channel. We did some movies. We also did a whole stream about this keyboard, and I believe, what did we combine it with? Probably a headset and a mouse or something. Yeah. So we launched it together
because we did the Osu game, right?
Yeah, probably that was together with that. Yeah. So I think the GM11 then. Yeah, that sounds about right. Anyway, so yeah, if you look for the Vigor GK30 on our YouTube channel, you could probably find the stream and also the product video we did about it. So that tells you a bit more about the most important things about this keyboard.
Please go watch that live stream, and you're gonna laugh your ass off because of the game that they played. I wasn't in the stream.
Yeah. Eric is still having nightmares.
Yeah, he popped like a vein on his forehead.
Yeah. Osu is like one of these, you know, well, if you guys watch, you know what it is, but it's like a fast reflex mouse testing game, and it's like a Guitar Hero on crack, I guess.
With a Japanese anime soundtrack on steroid.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So, and it's completely ridiculous, you know. And you know, the normal levels, if its difficulty is normal, it's doable, I guess. You know, you go like, okay, click here, click there. But you have these extreme. If you know Guitar Hero, it's also, you know, the highest difficulties is just like, what the hell? You just don't know what to do. It's kind of like that, but watch it and you'll know what we're talking about. And you'll also know why Eric still has nightmares about this.
Somebody just found out we make keyboards
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good.
The more you know, the more you know.
Exactly. Welcome to our gaming gear lineup. You know, we have keyboards, we have headsets, as you can see. We have gaming mice. We have a lot of things actually. Controllers. Go to our website. Look for our gaming gear. That's our line of peripherals. So, anyway, let's take this out. So I'll just remove the box.
Smells like brand new.
It is, yes. Even though I'm not smelling that much because I have a bit of a cold.
Oh, you are now.
Yeah. And as you can see, this is really brand new. There's even the sticker on here, which you guys will also see if you buy this product and you take it out of the box. You see.
Yeah, definitely don't
Play
forget
hard,
about
stay
this
silent.
part.
But yeah, exactly. You need to remove this sticker before gaming. Because this is basically just to make people aware of the zero froster feature, that the fans will actually stop below a certain temperature. And because in the past we actually had people, and I have to keep repeating this because it's funny, but it's true. We actually had people return their cards, you know, RMA them, because they put them in the PC and then they said, well, the fans aren't spinning, so it must be broken. No, it's a feature, not a bug. I mean, this is actually one of the times where you can really say that this is a feature and it's not something that's wrong with the product. So that's why we put these stickers on here to make, or at least hope to make people aware of the fact that, hey guys, the fans can stop. This is not a problem. So that's actually, it's meant to do that.
Just to eliminate the amount of calls that the support team will have.
Yeah. Ooh, I see a shout out to our designer as well. Somebody loves the MD-CLX in the background. Yeah, I know, that was, we actually asked our designer to make our, I think it's behind me, right? Oh, wait.
Maybe this way it's better.
No, actually, go back to the last view. Because, actually that's super.
Yeah, now we see it.
Here we go, yes. So we actually asked him to make a background and include, you know, like hints about 1660 Super. And so he came up with that. So
people are finding a lot of Easter eggs today.
Yeah, you guys are sharp. You guys are sharp. I love it. All right. Anyway, let's continue. So I'll be a good boy and you know, remove this sticker, like you guys should do as well. See if it'll come off without damaging the card. Nah, it shouldn't. Actually, funny story. You guys probably never even thought about this, but in the past we had stickers that did their job a little bit too well. So we actually had to fine-tune how much the stickers actually stick to, especially the fan blades, because in the past they would do their job just a little bit too well, and they could actually, if you know pulled straight out, they could actually dislodge the fan a little bit, which was obviously not good. So we had to fine-tune the mixture of the actual, you know, how sticky it is. So that's a fine, little behind-the-scenes look there, where these are the kinds of things that our headquarters, our engineers have to think about as well, besides making the card. And yes, we are going to see some gameplay. Why is there only one plastic cover for one fan? Well, because we don't want to, you know, we don't want to put the whole a sticker over the whole bloody thing.
We're also trying to be more environmental conscious, you know.
Friendly, yeah.
Using less plastic, you know, considering you might be able to.
We thought this was enough plastic, yeah. You know, maybe we could include like a jack in the box, you know, like when you open the box, it just jumps out. Like, don't forget to remove the sticker, or you know, the fans can stop. No, it's just, it serves the purpose just fine by, you know, the size it is right now. Maybe we'll change it in the future, who knows. If you have any good ideas for this, let me know. Carving pumpkins for Halloween, watching you two. Nice. What I need is a Lucky the Dragon phone holder.
Be careful not to carve your hand, my man.
Yeah. Can't you like carve a Lucky the Dragon phone holder from a pumpkin? Is that possible? Is that a thing?
I mean, you can always try.
Yeah.
Well, the chat is really quite busy today.
Yeah.
A lot of GPU guys out there. What about Diablo 3? What about it?
I've played the hell out of that game.
Can we get Eric for the gameplay?
I don't know. I don't think that's a good idea for now.
No, I don't think so neither. I can already hear him running, I think.
Yeah. Please no. Did we remember to lock the door?
Oh shit.
All right, back to the product then. Let's go take a look at that. So, for those familiar with our 16 series, it will look very familiar. You know, it's basically very much the same card as the 1660 Ti. If you would put those two next to each other, it will be very hard to distinguish, I think.
Yeah, and the TDP of this thing was 125.
Yes, versus the 1660 had a TDP, so that's how much power it basically is specified to use during max usage. That was 120 watts, and this card actually indeed has 125. It can go up to, I think, like 129 or something. You know, there's a little bit of variance there, but that's kind of like also saying something when we're talking about the TDP. It also means how much heat pretty much does the card have to dissipate and you know, account for trying to get rid of when the card is actually going full blast during games. So this card actually, I've seen some reviews as well. Our engineers did a really good job at it, which is to be expected from a twin Frozr card. So the cooling is really good. It stays really cool and it stays really quiet as well. So again, we managed to find a really good balance between, you know, cool and quiet and great performance. So that's quite nice. I see some guys asking about the TDP or how many watts it uses.
Yep, that's why I asked. I said
exactly. So somebody's saying 160 watts. Now that's a bit on the high side, so it should not ever reach that, to be honest.
Well, somebody's actually aware of our 500G case.
Yeah. I've seen more people asking for this. So can you make a golden AMD GPU for the 500G case? I think we have a golden AMD GPU.
The special.
I think we do.
It's just that one.
It's not exactly the same,
we do,
hue or you know the same type of gold maybe, but it is gold, champagne gold.
I think it's quite popular, right?
Yeah, it's called Evoke. Google it, you will be surprised.
A lot of results.
Yeah, exactly. So that's nice. Is there going to be a Super RTX Titan? I doubt it. Especially if you look at what Nvidia tends or has done so far, you know, with the super cards, it's just basically pretty much taking something from the card that's higher up and then, you know, putting that in one of the lower end GPUs, and then, you know, it's somewhere in between. You know, being that the Titan is already the highest end card they make, as in for the consumer market, I don't know really what they could do to it that would super it, pretty much. Does that make sense? I really don't know how they, you know, maybe, I don't even know, maybe I'm thinking like maybe HBM2 or something, but I don't know how much that would change things if there's not already HBM2 in there.
If the price drops.
Anyway, yeah. All right. So yeah, these are Torx 3.0 fans. If you guys know our, this generation of cooling, the twin Frozr 7, they all have the Torx 3.0 fans. They're quite recognizable compared to the last generation by these little, outstanding things on the fans here. So these little, wings, or how do you call them? Basically, they'll, as the fan spins, and they spin this way actually, because they're pushing the air down, these will basically catch air and condense them a little bit more before the other fan blade hits them and pushes them down. So that actually provides a bit more concentrated airflow downward into the heatsink, which helps keep the keep the card cool. And also, because it does that concentrated airflow thing, it's quite advanced aerodynamics, but that also actually reduces the turbulence, like micro, you know, very small turbulence, but still. And the turbulence is actually what you will perceive as the whooshing noise, you know, the blowing sounds, basically. So by doing this, it also reduces the actual noise of the air going through the fan. So that's, I think, good to know. Of course, it has a nice backplate, as you can see, metal backplate. Also with, I'm not sure, I think there are thermal pads in there. You know, so that the card actually, the backplate actually helps to dissipate some of the heat, depending if you have airflow, because it basically makes when you have thermal pads connected to the backplate, it basically makes the backplate act like a passive heatsink. Yeah. And a passive heatsink only works when you have airflow. It's the same principle pretty much with this heatsink here. If you didn't have the fans and you have no airflow, this heatsink is going to be very limited in the amount of heat it can actually get rid of. So it's really the airflow that makes the heatsink work. So same thing with a backplate that has thermal pads. It's the same principle.
It still has like the iconic brushed metal look.
Yes, yeah. I really love this as well. I think they did a really nice job on this. Really classy. Sorry guys, my voice is going a little bit. I also saw some people asking about the output, so I saw somebody asking about Type-C. This one does not have Type-C. Wow, I'm actually shooting the little protectors here. So I'm just taking the protectors off for you guys. Of course, these are like dust caps. So as you can see, basically 3 times DisplayPort and 1 time HDMI, as you can see. I think on top of my head, what version numbers are they? Or should I just not venture into this? What was it again? I always forget. I think the DisplayPort was 2.0 or something. Yeah, I think 2.0.
1.4. I
Really?
think the HDMI was 2.0.
Yeah, HDMI 2.0, and then DisplayPort needs 1.4, I think. But if you want to make sure, we have on our website, obviously, there's the specs, the full specs. So you can always find there this kind of detail, which version of display output is on the card, with the maximum number of displays you can connect, the maximum digital display size, all that kind of stuff that, almost nobody ever looks for. All that stuff you can find there, even the exact weight and measurements of the card, if you want to make sure.
Technical specifications list with
if you want to make sure it fits in your case, what kind of power supply we recommend. This card has only a single 8-pin connector, by the way.
Yeah, so quite efficient.
Yeah, so and most power supplies should be able to handle this. Again, this power supply has a TDP of about 125 watts, which means that a power supply of 400 watts should be able to handle this card in your system quite easily, I would say. It does have some nice RGB as well, so which is located, of course, here in the white part, and also on the side. So let's see if I can highlight this to you guys. It's basically underneath this this edge here, and it goes around there, here, and the same here. So if you know our twin
frozer, it's on the color box, right? You can show it.
I think so, yeah.
I think it should be lit up, yeah.
Whoa, this is lit. Let's see if you guys can see that. There you go.
So you can see the RGB, like where Peter just pointed. Yeah. On both of the around the fans.
It's kind of indirect lighting, so it's quite nice. It it just shines from underneath the shroud, as we call it.
I did notice someone is asking about the motherboard question quite a few times now. We're not trying to ignore you. I was just thinking how to best help you, because we can't just pinpoint right exactly where you can find that right now. It's very specific. And I think it would really be best for you, the best way for you to get your result is just to contact the support team, because they will know all the technical details.
Yeah, or even go to MSI.com. We have some forums there with a lot of people, a big community there that will be able to give you suggestions or offer some help. So maybe those guys, because I know that the B450 Tomahawk, there are a lot of questions about it. There are, I believe, multiple BIOS releases that have been released over the past weeks, months. So I know that this is very much a topic that you will find content on our forums. So make sure you look at that as well, because it could very well be that the answer to your question is there, and that helps you solve your problem. So we hope it does.
Oh, actually already somebody tried to answer him.
Oh, there we go.
Spoof pass. Yeah. So good luck, guys.
See, how great is our community here?
Exactly.
Just, our audience, they're helping each other. That's great. That's what we want to see.
All right, moving on.
Yep. I'm also seeing Dinosaur Rex is saying bought an MSI RTX 2070 Gaming Z back in January. It looks like this, looks great. Yes, it does, but the 2070 Gaming Z obviously has a lot more horsepower. So nice card, man, nice card.
Different category.
Yeah. Ooh, MSI should do a brushed brass color and gunmetal gray cards. That's very interesting. I like the sound of that, Jesters. Yeah. Brass is really nice color as well, indeed. It's nice, it's like copper-ish,
Yeah, copper-ish.
A bit towards copper, but it's like a warmer color. I mean, this is cold, right? This is like gray, so this is a bit like cold, the gunmetal gray. But the brass actually has a warm feeling to it.
Yeah,
in terms
way
of the
warmer
color.
than this.
Exactly. So that's actually a nice suggestion. I think that would look nice as well. I'm convinced it would. All right. And so underneath here is, the usual stuff basically. It's a twin frozen 7 cooler. It's got all the bits and bobs in there that help it achieve this really great performance. It's even though it's a relatively short card and it's not that heavy, but you can see here it also has the anti-bending strip basically, which has a double function by also covering and cooling the memory. But that also runs pretty much along the card. This part here is also connected to it. And it's then connected with the backplate pretty much by screws like this. So it also, by putting it all through the card, from the front to the back basically, you also get a very sturdy card, which it won't bend, it won't sag. It's really a solid piece of engineering. Really solid. All right. So yeah, that's this card. I actually built one because we had two.
You built one.
I had to. Well, I was going to say I built one into the PC that Ja is actually below Ja, the table below Ja. So we can show you some gameplay, some performance. Because we had two. Well, actually, I had to borrow one, obviously, from our technical department. But maybe we can show that. Maybe it's actually time for us to draw another winner. What do you think?
Whoa, guys, another winner already. Well, I never say no to that.
If you're ready for it.
Yep. So again, I might sound like a broken record, but if you just joined the live stream and you're new to this, just go to the link that you see in the banner right there and perform the actions that you see. The more you do, the more chances you will have at winning one of the Steam codes. And if you already registered, you're going to be hopefully the winner.
Yes.
So let's see who the second winner is. I did believe we already nailed down who's going to pronounce this one, right?
Oh yeah. This one is
you're
so
very lucky.
difficult.
You're so lucky.
Congratulations to Little Cat.
Yeah, congratulations, man. I hope you have a lot of fun with it.
Yes. So $20 Steam code coming to you. Well, sometime this week. Make sure you use it wisely because you only get one. Well,
exactly.
Today at least.
If the link doesn't work for you, just keep track of the chat. It's already been posted, and every 7-8 minutes or something, you get a new the link again. Yep. So good luck, guys. Yep.
Glad to see some guys, saying that they have great experiences with MSI cards. They're happy with it. That's what we're aiming for. We always try our best. Our engineers are always trying their best to give you the best possible result and the best possible product, so that you guys have a great gaming experience, good performance, low noise, and good cooling, obviously, and some additional features on top, if possible. I also see some people, I don't want to avoid this question really, is the 5700 XT thermal problem solved on Evoke? Here's the thing, it's complicated. There is, I wouldn't say there's a problem, because these products are functioning just fine. But there's a lot of new data, especially coming up with the RX 5700 cards, AMD with the Navi cards. They enabled a feature that, well, to my knowledge at least, nobody has done before, which is that you can actually read out the temperatures of the memory chips in the software. Yeah. And by the memory temperatures, I'm talking about there are different values. So there's actually like inside the chip, which I believe is called T-junction, or T-junction might actually be the highest temperature measured in the chip. I don't know. It might be even measured on multiple locations. But there's also, measurements. Usually what they did in the past was they would measure the surface temperature of the chip. And if you compare a memory chip to something like a CPU, most of you maybe have heard about delidding. So a CPU actually, most of the time, will have what is called a heat spreader on top of it, which means that the surface temperature of the heat spreader, of the thing that you actually see, is not the temperature of the actual CPU, because inside there is actually chips. So it's kind of comparable in a way. It's not 100% the same, obviously, but the principle is kind of the same. So that means that the temperature inside the CPU will actually be higher than the temperature you will measure on the CPU heat spreader. So for the memory, it's kind of the same thing, where the temperature on the outside, so basically on the surface of the memory chip, will be lower than the temperature inside the memory chip. And I think this freaked a lot of people out because they were suddenly seeing a lot higher temperatures than they were used to seeing from the memory. And they were saying, whoa, that's not good. Actually, it's a bit more nuanced than that because it kind of was always like that, but nobody was able to see it before. You didn't get those numbers. So I think there's a lot of people who don't really understand how to interpret these numbers. A lot of people obviously do as well. The problem is that the manufacturers of the memory actually didn't provide, they provide safe values, like temperature values, for the surface temperature, because that's what everybody was using and measuring. So we know what's safe to use for that, but they never publicly released the safe operating temperatures of the internal temperatures. So we do have the temperatures that are, actually being reached inside the chip, but nobody really knows, there's no official guidelines as to what is safe and what is not. So that makes it very dodgy to draw conclusions based on the temperatures. Obviously, you can do it, and a lot of people are doing it, but that's not to say that that is a fact. The companies that are manufacturing the memory can actually provide some more insight into this. But I don't know if it, again, I think if it really was a problem, they would have spoken up. There would have been, some kind of recall or some kind of action taken. Because remember, guys, these products are still covered by warranty. Both, if you buy an MSI product, an Evoke or a Mac card, they are fully covered by warranty from us. So if you have a problem with it I think it's at least 2 years, right? It can vary per country, but I think in general it's 2 years. So if at any time during 2 years you have any problem with the memory reaching temperatures that are actually causing problems or, artifacting, whatever, it's covered by warranty. Obviously, we don't ever want to reach that point, and we are confident that it doesn't. And our memory supplier is obviously confident of this fact as well. So, again, I think it's something that we are dealing with new information here that people are struggling to understand how to see this information and what is good and what is not, what is actually potentially dangerous. Yes, the temperatures are a lot higher than we have seen before. And, this is also something that for our engineers is something that's new to work with. They were building a GPU in the way that they've always done. They were looking at the surface temperatures. Now everybody is suddenly, for AMD cards at least, looking at the internal memory temperatures. So now our engineers are similarly also looking into this and seeing, okay, so how can we actually influence those? How can we maybe make those lower? If it makes you guys feel better and if it makes our, the media partners, the media reviews better, of course we will look into ways how to do that. But yeah, it's different, and I don't really think it's a big issue or a big problem. I just think it's something that's been blown way out of proportion. Because what you also have to understand is, of course, media, they want to make something big because then you guys will click on it. There will be a big discussion.
Yeah.
And I don't want to put it as simple as that because there might be legit concerns or, a legit point there. But obviously they do have a benefit by making this a big thing, obviously. So yes, they will do that. It makes sense. All we can say is it's fine as far as we can see. We've not seen any problems so far with RMA or something like this. So it's very much safe to buy. And again, fully covered by warranty. So yeah, again, I didn't want to give you guys the idea that we were trying to dodge this topic because we're not. Yeah, so I just did want to kind of address that as well.
Yeah, so I hope the confusion is a bit more clear.
Let's leave it at that. Again, there's a hell of a lot of information. We also dove into this, and there's so much new information to process and to see, how to make an actually balanced view on how this works and what is good and what is not. That people are still divided on this as well. So let's leave it there for now. And if there's any big developments, we'll get back to it.
Yeah, I noticed someone was asking if the 1660 Super is compatible with the Infinite S. Yes, so no worries there.
Oh, you mean in size, right? I think they're speaking in terms of size. Will it fit?
Yeah, it will fit.
It will fit. All right.
I mean, even a RTX 2060 fits in there.
Ah,
So.
you've tried, right? You put one in there, didn't you?
Actually, I have tried. Yeah, I put a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah, exactly.
So no worries there.
So that's good.
Size-wise and TDP.
You should be fine.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
That's good to know. That's good to know.
So, any other questions?
I see a lot of people now also talking about the memory stuff. Let's leave it for now. I hope this helped you guys get a bit of an image about it, and maybe, you know, if you had any concerns about it, that this helps to address it a little bit.
All right.
But yeah, time for some COD. Definitely. So maybe
Good
to
old
switch.
COD.
Exactly. Switch to Jazz PC. Here we go. We also have Afterburner running. And as you can see on the display, it shows that you won't hear game sound, I believe, because I guess some of our colleagues already mentioned we had a little bit of issues trying to get that to work. We're working with some new stuff. You know, I don't know if any of you guys do streaming. You know, there are multiple software, so XSplit, OBS. We're trying out different things, and then you'll run into issues, obviously.
It worked great until, of course, we were approaching the live stream.
Yeah, because then stuff stops working properly.
Suddenly, it's just chaos everywhere.
Yes.
You know?
Vegetom 1, there are actually multiple giveaways going on. We already have 2 winners, and we're going to have at least 1 or maybe even 2 more today. So stick around and make sure you participate if you want to win. And actually, SpoofPass just came through and gave you the names.
Yeah, I mean, people are really keeping track of stuff, man.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Cool. Cheers for the help. All right, so John, if you would do the honors. So as you can see there, we got several specs on the screen showing, one of which is the GPU temperature. The percentage to the right of it is the actual usage, so how much percent of the GPU capacity is being utilized. The other one is, that's at the moment like 1 or 2%. That's, I believe, the fan speed, or?
I wasn't paying attention. Which one?
The one that's saying 1 or 2% right now.
1 or 2%.
Or is that?
No, that shouldn't be the fan speed.
Or is that the memory, the percentage of memory being? No, that shouldn't be right.
I think we just randomly clicked on something to display.
Yeah, anyway, so but the actual clock speed is there showing up as well. As you can see, it's going a bit up and down now. We're in the menu, so it's sort of idling, I guess. Memory, so that's showing how much of the memory. Remember, there's 6 gigs, so 6,000 megabytes in there. At the moment, not even 2,000 is being used. And also the memory clock speed is being shown, which at the moment is 5,001 megahertz. This is not overclocked, by the way, so this is just out of the box the performance of the 1660 Super Gaming X. And of course, you can see also the frame rate counters at the moment. Of course, in the menu, it's I believe we put it on unlimited, right? Unlimited FPS.
Yeah.
So it's near 300 FPS, and you can see we put it in a graph as well, so you can actually see during the gameplay if there are any significant or big dips, or you know, that you will be able to notice. So yeah, why don't you go ahead and jump into a game for us?
So what would you guys like to see?
And no, Eric didn't win a
start
code.
with something simple.
I see you guys saying Eric won it, or actually, I think this is Eric himself in the MSI Gaming account saying, "Congratulations, Mr. Eric, who won a code." Yeah, no. How about no?
We should put him on the blacklist.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
I think he already is.
We do have an email
automatically.
address.
Yeah.
So anybody who already tried out this game?
Yeah, I tried it out as well. I'm gonna show it a little bit later on as well.
So that's why you were so good.
No, I'm not that good at it, to be honest. It's not my favorite game. I do like how it looks. I really love how it looks, to be honest. It performs pretty good as well, I have to say. We're playing it on 1080p, by the way. Maybe you can show the graphic settings later on as well, John.
I'll get this started and then show you guys the settings.
Yeah.
So remember, this is with the 1660 Ti Super card.
Somebody is giving you a challenge. Play campaign on the hardest difficulty.
Do I look like someone that plays campaign?
Poggers. Yeah, show the settings. Somebody's already asking.
All right, so okay, maybe
graphics.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not blocking the settings. Graphics.
Yeah.
So
full screen. There you can see the monitor as well being displayed.
Yeah, and the card.
Yeah. Screen refresh rate. Oh, actually, you can set that.
This one
higher.
was actually.
Yeah, that keeps resetting.
Yeah.
This might be because we're doing capturing, guys. Because of course, our capture card is also limited to 60 FPS. So that might be why it's limiting the FPS sometimes.
So just turn it back to for our own pleasure.
Of course, yeah, 144 all the way.
Yeah,
all the way.
And you know the render resolution is set at 100. If you want to have even sharper textures and just resolution, you can crank this up. But of course, this will then require more GPU power. So that's up for you to decide when you do this.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing really spectacular going on here. In the aspect ratio is set to automatic. This is right now to 16:9. Of course, VSync, always disable this when you have FreeSync. And,
in FPS games,
yeah. Unlimited FPS. What else? So
pretty much everything on high is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, well, high is here actually the max. So
yeah.
you know we often speak of ultra and stuff like that. It differs per game.
Yeah. On the top right, by the way, you can also see the projected VRAM usage, right?
Yeah.
So if you change settings and it really like textures, for example, that can really
So for example, if
VRAM.
I take the texture back to low,
there
you can see the decrease is incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
So going back.
Put it
almost
on
doubles.
High. Yeah, exactly. So 4 gigs of the available 6. That's fine.
Yeah. So texture also, you know, set the max, particle quality at max. So this is really, you know, what I like about Call of Duty is that when you go into the settings part, they always show you on the right side like what kind of difference you're making with what kind of
visual
setting.
examples. Right,
exactly.
Right,
so.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're one of those persons that I don't like. You join a multiplayer game and then you go and, you know, during a stream and then you go and show settings.
You nobody got time to keep track of that.
That's a no-no.
All right, where were we?
All right.
Yeah, texture. So yeah, bullet impact, of course, enabled. Tessellation is set a near.
Yeah, you can also put it to all, which it's basically the render distance at which the tessellation is showing up. So by putting it on near, it just gives you a little bit of a performance gain.
Let's go. So shadow and lighting. So extra here is
also the highest.
Max. Yeah, the max.
Yeah.
Enabled. You have cache. Caching the sun shadow also enabled.
So the difference between spot shadows and sun shadows is the spot shadows are like, basically all the separate light sources, like, lamps or something like in the game, or a torch or a grenade or something. Anything that emits light except the sun. So the sun is like, something that's always pretty much in the game, at least in the same position, or the moon. And that's why they separated those two. So one is a bit more dynamic than the other.
Got the particle lighting.
Yep.
So Peter already touched upon this, kind of like, the particle can also create a shadow because of the lighting and stuff.
Well, in this case, not shadows, but lights.
Yeah, the lights.
Light effects.
Ray
tracing, in this case, is disabled. We could enable it, but to be fair, this is not an RTX ray tracing card, so I mean, we can show it for the hell of it, but it's not really the point, is it? Actually, for that purpose, we have a PC set up right here on my side, which we'll show you later, which is running a RTX 2080 Ti. So I think that will do a better job at it.
Oh,
wouldn't you agree?
I would hope so for a 2080 Ti.
Exactly. All right, so but pretty much, basically, cutting it a little bit short, but basically all the settings are put to their either high or max settings. That's pretty much the short of it.
It's like 99%.
And all the blur, pretty much disabled. I always disable motion blur and stuff like that by default because I can't stand it.
No, I can't either.
I like having everything sharp.
Yeah, but also if you have like 144 hertz screen and you're playing like close to it and you're putting on motion blur, you move around, you're eliminating the sharpness, the advantage you have when you move around. So one, you have to puke, it makes you miserable, and two, you lose the advantage. So, but of course, this is all personal opinion too. The puking part though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's for the settings.
Oh, I'm seeing somebody. Is there any new monitor upcoming? Because I saw a post on Instagram about 1 million MSI monitors sold. Well done. Yeah, so it's no surprise that MSI monitors are going like hell. It's selling quite well. We're making very good monitors as well. I think at a very good price. So yeah, it's unsurprising, and yeah, any new monitors upcoming?
Definitely,
almost constantly, I would say.
Yeah,
it's something that it's going so fast.
Something else that you can also really keep in mind is that we're placing more focus on esports monitors, so you can expect a lot of top models that you can just use for
very high refresh rates.
Yeah, for all the AAA games, but especially tailor-made for esport games. So a lot of the models are actually being announced this month and being launched. So just keep track, because actually in 2 weeks I'm gonna do a live stream about it.
Yeah.
So if you're not sick of my face yet and my voice, then in 2 weeks I'll see you.
Yeah, but I mean, especially for Mr. Phone Click, yeah, you'll be interested in seeing that stream then for sure.
All right, so.
Yeah, just go into. I love the way they do this lobby kind of thing as well. Where if you have a squad, you'll have your squad mates walking next to you. I really love that as well.
Someone just suddenly appears and joins. Oh, actually, I didn't notice about this fact, but I didn't know that Call of Duty Modern Warfare was also automatically just like with Chapter 2 of Fortnite, is cross-platform.
Yeah, I also noticed it. Yeah, so you have people, on consoles playing as well, which I love because I play on a PC.
Yeah. And I used to think, it's so unfair until I learned about the fact that the console peasants, I'm just kidding, the console players, they actually have aim assist, even in multiplayer
Well,
games.
that makes sense because it's, how else are you going to bridge the gap?
I mean, yeah, of course, it makes sense, but I had expected that this was going to be a campaign-only mode.
I also don't know how well that will go down in like an actual professional scene. It will be interesting to see, and I like the fact that COD at least has the balls to do it, to implement it. And I think there probably still needs some fine tuning. You're going loud?
Yeah.
All right.
And I must say,
you're playing without sound, right?
Yeah. So, like we explained earlier, if you just joined, we had a little bit of difficulty with the capturing setup. Yes.
As you can see here, I'll do the running commentary. Ja's killing everybody. Actually, yeah. I thought he killed a teammate there, but he didn't.
Anyway, so I'm not that bad with Call of Duty.
But as you can see, this is 1080p, remember, and all the settings pretty much on high or the highest setting. And as you can see, he's getting, this is like an uneventful corner. So here he's getting 150 FPS, which is very nice, especially when you're playing on a 144 Hz monitor. But in the thick of the action, you'll still see somewhere around 100 FPS, which, let's be fair, is pretty nice. And this, again, as remember, is playing on a 1660 Super. So, yeah, this is... it's really nice. Ja's doing quite well, considering this is one of his first games in Call of Duty Modern Warfare ever.
With a whole new setup that I usually don't use.
Yeah. Sorry. So there's also people asking about this game and if you can get it. Yes, I'll see Hussein Hani saying basically got the answer. I don't know if you asked the question. I must have missed it if you did. But yes, there is currently a bundle, an Nvidia game bundle, where if you buy an RTX 20 series or 20 Super series card, you can or basically will get this game for free. However, you need to check with your reseller because not all resellers have this bundle. They need to have your reseller, actually, the shop where you buy it from, will need to provide you the code. This will not be provided by MSI directly or by Nvidia. So it will have to be provided by the shop. So before you buy, and if you're interested in getting this game together with your graphics card, make sure before you buy that the shop that you're planning to buy it actually has and is participating with this game bundle. We don't want you guys to get disappointed so that you miss out on a free game.
The graphics, up till now, quite impressive, especially how the weapons look.
And there's also no real big dips. That's why you can get an average FPS number. That's always quite nice, but it doesn't really tell you, if there are any big dips that suddenly you get like stuttering or 1 or 2 FPS. Here you can really clearly see that it's really smooth around 100. It does go up and down a little bit depending on how much there's going on. But overall, Ja's having, he's actually taking a close look at one of his victims there, but is having a very smooth experience. So, this is also one of the things that's very important, I think. Did you just blow yourself up?
I don't think so. I think somebody shot my C4.
Did that just happen?
I think somebody shot my C4. Let's go with that.
I think the
Let's
kill feed
go with
kind of
that.
said you killed yourself there,
There
but
was-
that's fine.
No,
Don't worry
I
about
don't
it.
think you saw the kill feed at all, so it's okay.
Yeah. Let's pretend that didn't happen, shall we? But yes, and if you want to know more about the game bundle, make sure you go to MSI.com and check. I believe the menu item is called What's New, and there's also an item called Promotions. There you can find all the ongoing promotions. If you're buying any MSI gear or planning to buy it, it's always worth checking, because who knows, you might be getting some free stuff there, or if you don't know about it, you'll be missing out on some free stuff, which obviously should never be a thing. So yeah, do yourself a favor. Always check out the promotions and make sure you get whatever you can. How is Jachi even playing this game without sound? Yeah,
Game sense.
yeah, exactly. Just on based on visual cues, I would say, I guess.
Yes, and lightning fast inhuman reactions.
Yeah, man, like a cat. Did you see how fast he died there? That was impressive.
You were distracting me, man.
All right, but I think this demonstrates quite nicely, you know, the FPS, the performance in this brand new title, which
I mean,
is both a credit to the card running it, and of course the game itself that is probably quite well optimized, I would say.
they took away the car logo, but I'm pretty sure that was a Skoda.
Yeah,
yellow
it
one.
looked like it.
Yeah.
Exactly. By the way, you can see the memory is now up to 5.5, just over 5.5 gigs of, but that's still fine. The card has 6 gigs of memory that it can use. It's up to 7001 megahertz, which is also well, what it's supposed to do, because you always have to do ×2 basically with these speeds. So that means in practice he has the 14 gigabit per second speed. The card itself, as you can see, it's being used 97% in the middle, the percentage, 98, there you go. And it's barely up to 70 degrees. And we don't even hear it. Yes, it's built into a PC, but still, we don't hear it. Fan speed is very low as well, I would guess. But still, I think that's the second percentage. I do believe it was something like the fan speed percentage, something like this. So it's just spinning. Again, zero throttle is usually around, it kicks in around 60 degrees. So that means that if the card reaches above 60 degrees, the fans will start spinning. Below 60 degrees, they probably will stop.
And people
Unless you put it differently.
Yeah, I was just going to say people do have the choice to customize
Yes.
it.
Yeah, especially in Afterburner, you can do fast custom fan curves. But this card is quite silent, and the cooling is very good for this GPU. Again, this GPU isn't that power hungry anyway, so you don't need a massive 3-fan cooler, to be honest. That's way overkill.
It looks pretty cool though.
It does, yeah. It also makes it a hell of a lot more expensive to make, I guess, because it means more materials need to be used. Yeah, and as you can see, nice stable clock speed of 1905 megahertz, which is, of course, as we're used to from Nvidia cards, way above the stated boost speeds.
Just
I
had
believe the stated boost speed is something like 1750-ish, something like that.
He ruined my killing spree.
So yeah.
I can see myself playing
Is that
around with this
temperature
card.
normal? Yeah, so basically 70 degrees is fine, you know. Even into the 80s or 90s is actually no problem for these cards. The fan will just start to spin a bit quicker and should handle it just fine. But this is the GPU temperature, remember, this is not memory temperature. Also because this is an Nvidia card, you cannot read the memory temperatures on Nvidia cards. It's not possible.
I think I'm doing quite okay.
Yeah. All right. So I think that shows it quite nicely. Maybe for the next part we can switch to my PC. Because again, I have something lined up here with a 2080 Ti, so I can show you guys some of the ray tracing as well. And this is also one of the reasons I believe why this card really is bundled with. This game is bundled with RTX 20 and RTX 20 Super cards. because of the ray tracing, you know. And trust me, it really does make a difference. I think it really adds to the ambiance. It's mostly ray traced shadows in this game, but it does really make it look a lot nicer. I think, can you guys see? Yeah, I think you guys can see the FPS counter on the top left. That's actually the in-game FPS counter, so it's not the same as Afterburner.
And now you have the luxury of sound.
I believe so, yeah. This should actually give you some sound as well. But I will actually skip that. So what I will do is I will do part of the campaign, I guess. I think that's better, because then I'm not bothering any online players. Let's see.
I thought it was like one of your hobbies.
Yeah, kind of. So let's see. Maybe a night mission is nice to do, like this. Sounds okay. Yeah, that's fine. Let's do hardened, shall we? Let's not go for easy. Anyway, we'll be looking at some of the details in the game as well. I'll show you the settings, by the way, once the mission starts that I'm using. Also playing at 1080p again. This is because of the capture and streaming limits. I'll skip this for now. The campaign, by the way, I played through it. It is very nice. I really love it. The atmosphere is so good. You really get into it. All right, so before we start, let me show you guys the settings. So graphic settings. Oh, it locked to 60 FPS. I don't know why that is. Let's unlock it. Oh,
Same
sorry.
issue with me.
Yeah, refresh rate. Again, it's 1080p because of the streaming. Aspect ratio automatic. No VSync. Unlimited frame rate. Texture resolution highest. Or enabled, sorry. Oh, we'll put this to the highest as well. We don't care. It's a 2080 Ti. And we're doing it at 1080p, so that shouldn't really be a thing. Ultra, highest, everything is on. Ray tracing was disabled, so I'll leave it on disabled first, so we'll look around and see, watch some of the details. Ambient occlusion, also on the highest. Pretty much everything is on, except, of course, blur, because no, just no, don't. All right, apply settings.
Do you dare to play the mission on hard?
I can try and fail, yes. So basically what you're seeing here is this is without ray tracing. So as you can see, also look at especially the shadows. So you can see all the edges are very crisp, very sharp, and I think that's one of the biggest differences you can see with ray tracing as well. Here as well, this object obviously is being lit by this light source here. So it's a dynamic light. And as you can see, there are some parts moving there, but it doesn't matter how far away you go from the object, the shadow is still, it's like a stencil. It's very sharp, the edges. And that's one of the things that ray tracing addresses, because that's not realistic. If you go outside and you go stand below a light post at night, and you watch any shape that's below it, and the further away it gets, it will be more blurry. So let's turn ray tracing on now. Here we go. Ray tracing enabled. Apply. And let's take another look. So as you can see, right off the bat, so close to the object, yes, it's very sharp. But the further away you get, as you can see, it becomes diffuse. And that's actually how it works in real life as well. So that's one of the things that ray tracing does. And it does make, and this is just one part. But it does that all over the place. It applies that to pretty much all the. I believe it does only apply it to anything that's. What was the option called again? Yeah. So only on spot shadows, I believe it's applied. So sun shadows, so anything lit by or a shadow cast by moon or sunlight, I believe was still going to be. How do you call it? Yeah, well, sharp, like non-ray traced. But all the spot shadows, like this is a spot, as they call it, that will be applied with ray tracing, and that will look way more realistic. Even on something as small as this, you see some difference. Let's go into the mission. By the way, also check the FPS. So at the moment, I'm still, okay, just staying here and standing here. It's like 111, 112, 115 FPS. Now, because one of the major concerns about ray tracing has pretty much always been the impact in terms of performance, right? So let's see how much it actually impacts the performance here. So now I'm getting about 130 something. So it's pretty much like 20 FPS difference. 20 FPS, and that's because we're over 100 FPS, that's less than 20%. So that's probably like 15% difference, something like that. But it's still, even with ray tracing on, comfortably over 100. So let's put it back on.
No, the 1660 doesn't have ray tracing.
You can enable it, but it obviously, because it lacks the dedicated ray tracing cores, the performance will not be quite as good as when you have an RTX card, which are purpose-built with dedicated ray tracing cores included. So that's also why you would spend or choose to spend more money on an RTX card, because you would get increased performance when applying ray tracing.
Yeah, and good to hear that, Edwin, that your nephew brought an MSI gaming monitor with such an old card, a 7000 series from AMD. You know, just put on the DisplayPort cable.
Yeah.
And if you really want to get out, you know, the 144 Hz refresh rate, I suggest you know, he should tune the settings to such a degree that he can get more FPS out of it. So the more FPS he gets out of it, the more he can benefit from the 144 Hz refresh rate.
I love this question by Jess as well. Why does your character not have a shadow? That's actually a great question. I think somebody should ask, you know, Activision Blizzard or the developers of the game. I find that quite odd as well. But, you know, there's not. Another thing that might be nice to see as well is when, as you can see, when I'm moving closer or further away from an object, you can see that actually the shadows change a bit, right? Here you can see it takes like a second to...
Yeah, it's like it's focusing.
Yes, exactly. And this is actually the denoiser at work. So because, of course, the denoiser, there's only a few or so many rays that are being shot out and measured, like, you know, which pixels can be calculated. You know, are these covered by shadow? And if so, should it be diffuse shadow, or should it be very sharp? And the rest of the space around it is being filled in by the denoiser and the tensor cores. But this takes like, yeah, a fraction of a second. So you probably won't notice it if you know, when you're just going through the game, because it's very subtle, and as long as you're moving, it doesn't really register. But yeah, it's one of these things that at the moment, at least, you can still kind of see that you know, it's rendering in real time. So that's kind of cool. But also look at the detail here, and I believe on this side there was also something to be noticed. So here you can see the shadow of this piece of wood, this post, being cast on this surface. Now if I disable ray tracing again, let's see, ray tracing disabled, there we go. And here you can see, so this is the result without ray tracing. And as you can see, there are some soft shadows there, but it's like nowhere near as realistic, right? It still looks okay at a glance, definitely. And also there's a little bit of a strange thing going on here, because wait a minute, you know, that light there is shining from this side, right? So this should all be dark. But on the left side here, really close to the object itself, there's actually a bit of a lighter part. So this is actually, yeah, maybe like an incorrect shadow mapping or something like that. So it's actually not registering correctly that this part should be dark as well. And that's, you know, these are the small details that ray tracing, well, fixes, I guess, or addresses. Because normally this kind of thing would need to be manually corrected, you know, or patched by the developer, because they would have to manually just, you know, drag the shadow a little bit to the left to prevent this space from occurring. Ray tracing will just calculate it based on, hey, how should this look based on realistic light behavior and shadows. So turning ray tracing back on, you can see there's no more light here. It's completely realistic, and also there's a lot more detail in the shadows of these plants. Even the smallest things here in the game now with ray tracing have shadows. Even these little plants here.
Details.
Yeah, well, it's all about the details. This is the thing about ray tracing. It's the final mile of, you know, how to make things look realistic, how to make things look even more realistic. We've come a long way since, you know, old games. but they still had, you know, these weird quirks where you can see, yeah, it's not real, you know, it's not like photorealistic. This actually comes a hell of a step closer. So here we can actually put a ladder while my other friends here are breaking in.
Did you just put a ladder out of your ass?
Yeah, I did, yeah. Yeah, I always keep it there.
Nice.
You never know when you're gonna need it.
It's a big backpack.
Yes, it is. I think here is also a nice example of ray tracing that I can show you. So, let's see, disabled. Here you can see, for example, the shadows of the chairs and the table. You know, it's all very sharp again. And remember, the light source is this. There's no other light source that's sending, you know, that's supposed to be casting shadows. But it's very sharp. And it looks okay. Except for the fact that, you know, in real life, it doesn't really look like this. So in real life, it also looks a lot more like this. Because the way that light, you know, behaves and bounces around, and actually you can see a little bit of noise. Can you guys see that? Like little dots moving around a little bit. So this is maybe still, you know, some fine tuning going on, or having to be done on the part of the denoiser that's trying to figure out, should this part be light or dark, and it's not really making up its mind yet. But this is way more realistic, you know, where especially this edge, this rim being hit, and I believe, is this supposed to be, I don't know if this is like, no, it's not see-through plastic, it's not transparent. But it's leaving a way more blurred shadow this way, and it's more realistic. So it's details like that, and then also it completely changes the way that the room looks. Right? If you look at it like this, versus if you look at it with ray tracing disabled in the traditional rendered way. You know? And this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying, you know, this is basically the last mile of how to make games look as close to lifelike as possible. And also you can see, you guys see that in the top, or sorry, in the bottom left corner, where the game will decide to either render show shadows or not based on if the player is looking at it, basically, to try and preserve performance. So this is actually quite clever, because normally you probably won't notice this very much, but it's like cropping of stuff that you probably won't see. And also this teapot. I really don't know. Will there be like reflections? Oh, let's put ray tracing on. It's probably, I don't know. I don't think it's reflections in this game, but actually, no, not really.
Nope.
Yeah, so it's ray traced shadows for the most part that's been implemented in this game. Yeah. But I mean, this is yeah, this makes the game look way more impressive, and I can put on my night vision as well, which also looks pretty badass. Wow. All right. Oh, I can't aim down sights while wearing night vision goggles. That's nice.
Could have told you that sooner.
Yeah, yeah. Is RTX about 5 years normal? Yeah, I mean, it's becoming more and more common, I would say. So there's more and more games that support it anyway, right?
Well, and according to Jensen, you know, in 2019, if you're buying a graphics card, it's now RTX. You're crazy.
Yes, correct. So I don't really have sound here, but I guess I'm supposed to take these guys out, so let me do that. And she was going, I know, I've played this mission before, so I know she was going for a gun as well. You might think, why did you shoot her?
I was just about to say that.
Yeah. No, she was gonna grab a gun as well, I know. Alright, so are we gonna go up or what? Oh, alright, now we have to put night vision on, there we go. And now we can only aim with the laser pointer, as you can see, it's quite nice. And also, I love the fact they, I don't know if you guys are catching this, but depending on what you're looking at, if you can see here, these, yeah, the little wooden things here. So if you're looking besides them, you're focusing on the wall, basically. So these become blurred. That's like the depth of field effect at work. But if you're looking at these bars here, they actually become more focused. That's also a nice...
This is really nice.
A small detail, you know, but it's quite nice. Yeah, man. Let's just bash the door and I'm fine with that. Oh, wow. Alright, I was not ready for that.
He wasn't ready.
No. And I'm also, I do, if I remember correctly, there are audio cues in this game as well as to what you can expect for, in terms of, you know, if there's anybody, you're not going for a gun, are you? You are. That's so lame. I just saved you. Anyway. Oh yeah, there was someone there as well. Anyway, so yeah, you can actually hear people around corners as well. When it shows the performance through Afterburner, yeah, maybe I can do that. I mean, you know, this is a 2080 Ti and it's running on 1080p, so yeah, you would expect it to work well.
This was basically just to show you the ray tracing capabilities.
Yes, yeah, and the difference it makes.
Yeah,
and it really does make a big difference, in my opinion, at least. I don't know if I actually configured this. Oh wow, I just threw a flashbang, that's fine, yeah. Let's see if I can configure the on-screen display just quickly. No, wait. Why can I not say that it needs to display this? I think I have an outdated version or something. I might have yeah, I didn't update, oh, here we go, yeah. This is a outdated version of Afterburner. So, yeah, I'm not gonna show that, but there's a guy sitting on the toilet. Yeah, thanks. Cheers. I actually heard him. Actually, maybe I could smell him. There you go. Don't go. Don't do it. Don't do it.
2 X-rays down.
Oh my god.
Did we mention about the promo right now?
No, you can. You mean the where you can get this game actually? There we
if
go.
you guys just take a look at the banner right there, well, you actually now have the chance to get a game too.
Yeah.
So if you're planning with any upgrade or any purchase in the future or any time soon, there's a lot of information right there that will tell you how you can get this game.
Yeah. I'm really impressing you. I know. That's why so this is the reason I didn't go for a multiplayer experience. Now you understand. You're getting a bit bummed out because you're the proud owner of a 2080 Ti. There's no reason for you to be bummed out, man. You have, at the moment at least, the best gaming graphics card that you can get. So
exactly. I mean, it's sad that you don't have your liver anymore, but at least you have your 2080 Ti, right?
Exactly. Why would you be sad about that, or you know? Oh, what? There was nobody there.
How many times have you died now? Like 6 times?
Way too many times already. Well, what the hell? I checked the corner. There was nobody there. Hello? Oh yeah, let's get out of the way of this guy. You can take the bullets from me. You be my meat shield. That's fine. I'm okay with that.
Well, Edwin, if I win the lottery, I'll share with you too. So I have the same question. When will I win the lottery?
So there's somebody behind the couch. What? Now he's there. Does this game actually put
it's okay.
people...
People are cheering you on. Just do your best.
Yeah. I'm trying to. I should probably just stick to other games. I don't know. Again, the goal was not to show you guys how good I am at this game, because I'm not. Are you kidding me? Is this guy down right now? Yeah, he is. Alright, that's nice. Oh, see, it was somebody behind the couch and somebody in this room. What the hell? That's really something special right there. Oh, he's got like his arm through through the TV, man. Look at that. This guy is really angry. He's punched the TV and then tried to shoot me. Look at that. Raging. Alright. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, this game, the game is trolling me, Spoofpass, you're right. And rightly so. I love the fact that it's doing this. The thing is, it doesn't matter. I still like this game. It just the whole atmosphere and the game itself. I don't know. It gets me somehow.
It gets you.
Oh wow. Are you going for a gun? No, you're going for a baby. That's fine. You can grab a baby. You can't shoot me with a baby. I don't think. Unless the baby is secretly a gun. What's up?
Secure.
What? What happened? Oh, actually, I knocked the door open. What the hell? I spooked myself, guys. I spooked myself. Alright, so, I mean, here's the thing, you know? That's why I asked Ja to do this stream with me. He's here for the good gameplay. He's here for the shots. I'm just here for the ray tracing.
You wrecked me in the 1v1.
Get down! Get down! Don't shoot! Don't shoot, please!
Yeah,
They locked me in here!
that's true. We can actually, shall we do a bit of one? What the hell? What did you do? Okay, that's fine. She was going for something here.
Well, Edwin, we don't have the 144 Hz IPS monitor yet, but I do, or I can tell you, you can expect it.
Good job we
Yeah.
dropped it in.
We made the right call, sir.
Peter is ultra noob. I like that.
Yeah, true.
I like you.
This should be my new new
Pikagi.
nickname. Exactly. All right. Anyway, I don't want to spoil too much of the game for you guys. So honestly, I'll see if I can. Actually, I can't skip this part. Too bad.
Don't you love that cutscene that you?
Should we? Why don't we draw another winner?
Well, Peter is really going for it today.
Yeah, and then maybe in the meantime, I'll see if I can set up a 1v1 because you know I need to redeem my name somewhat. Should we do that?
Well, let's see. So we're gonna draw the first. Well, not the first. The third.
Third.
I was going to say the next winner, but somehow I said first.
The first winner of right now.
So let's see who is the next winner. Well, it seems that the next winner is Verizon. Congratulations. I hope you know who I mean.
Yep.
Do something fun with it.
If not, it's gonna be a surprise because you're gonna get an email with a code.
Yep.
It's not fake.
And it's not spam, so exactly.
Exactly, yeah. All right, so let me see if I can invite you. Invite. And then we'll get into some multiplayer.
All right.
So who are we speccing right now?
Guess we're going to do it. Right now we're on yours.
This me, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Good luck all, yeah. All right, so to make it even, because Ja, the sound is not working on his PC, so I'm actually not gonna wear headphones, okay? So we're gonna keep it fair.
You're taking every.
Is that okay?
You're taking every bit of excuse away from me.
I know. That's why I think I don't want people to think I'm cheating or I have an unfair advantage.
He usually does.
I know, but it's yeah. It's I already have an unfair advantage, maybe, I guess.
So this is like what Peter meant earlier. Like you see, now there are two people in the team in the lobby, so there are like two people crawling around endlessly on the same path. Yep. And if somebody else joins, there's going to be 3 and 4, and that's a nice little
so
detail.
we're gonna go for a gunfight. I think that's nice. The gunfight, by the way, you can do it in teams of, I don't know if there's a limit to how many people, but you can make teams, and it's like 1 versus 1, 2 versus 2, something like that. And you have different rules. So here you can set up what you want. And most of the time you will, for example, have loadouts. At the start of the round, everybody gets the exact same 2 weapons, basically, or, pack of weapons. And so everything is equal. Everybody has the exact same weapons. You start at opposite ends of the map. And then you have, I don't know, like 40 seconds or something now. I don't know how much time your round is, but you have a specific amount of time, and within that time, either team has to kill the other, and that's the way. And it's, I don't know how many rounds. There's something here as well. You can all customize that how much time you want for that. I'm just going to leave most of it on standard, and I'm going to choose this speedball because it's a relatively small map, so we won't be looking for each other for ages. We're not going to add bots. It's just going to be a 1v1. And that's pretty much it. And I'm going to leave this on auto-assign the team, so it will put us on opposing teams. And let's just start, I guess.
Tommy Ye, we're definitely pay attention to the Twitch chat as well, as I'm reading your comment right now.
Yes.
So yeah, we're paying attention.
But we don't read all the comments.
Yeah,
as you can imagine,
like
we're streaming
comments.
on YouTube, on Twitch, on multiple Twitter,
Facebook,
Periscope.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, there's a hell of a lot of chat messages coming in. It's like it's like the Matrix, you know. So we try to catch questions when we can. Yeah. All right. So basically now it's 1v1, and let's see how we can do.
There you are.
Whoa! All right.
Revenge.
What do you mean revenge?
Revenge
Oh,
of
yeah,
the
yeah,
games
yeah,
that
yeah,
they
yeah.
haven't seen yet.
True. Yeah. For the. Right.
Yeah.
So now, as you can see, you get different weapons.
This gun is really just barbaric.
It's like you can cut down trees with this, I believe, right?
I would love to just mow through a bunch of zombies with this gun.
There we go.
Not my gun, guys.
Tommy, we're actually using one. Ja is using the 1660 Super in his PC. So I don't know.
Oh, now we're using the P90.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe you can switch to your view or.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you just give me a second, you can see
From Ja's perspective, it's a little darker, as you can see, the screen, but yeah, that's because of the captured card.
Guys, where's Peter hiding?
Don't tell him.
There he is. So
Alright.
as you can see, it's still a very stable 100 plus and sometimes 110 plus FPS.
Yep, very smooth experience. For me, it's a bit higher because obviously I have a higher end card.
Yeah, 3080
Ooh,
Ti.
pistol. All right, so that's this will be interesting.
It's a revolver. Peekaboo! Oh,
I see you.
the crosshair was right on his head. Where did my bullet go? Oh, it flew right next to you.
Yep.
Nice.
It gave me a nice haircut, I think. All right, it's a shotgun time.
Better get close.
Exactly. Uh-oh.
Oh,
Reload.
you only have 2 bullets. I see.
Woohoo!
Really? You ran away?
No, I actually came back. Hello, peekaboo. All right. Compression is also due to the capture card. That's correct. Yes. Oh.
I believe that was a solid hit. Oh, come on.
Shotgun. You have 2 weapons, you know.
Wait, that was... Oh, you have 2 weapons?
Yes.
I thought it was weird you could just run and shoot.
Booyah.
Alright guys, come back.
All right. Oh, all right. Nice.
Come back. 2 more, 3 more.
Ah, I thought you went the other way for a second there.
That's what I thought for the past 6 rounds. Not this gun
Oh,
again.
yes. Come here. Ooh. Yes.
Well, I guess I gotta stay civilized. GG, well played.
Thank you. You want to do a rematch?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
Do you have time for a rematch? Anybody want to place bets? Let's just say I should stick to multiplayer probably and not single player.
Okay, winner takes the 1660 Ti Super home. Let's go.
You wish. I think we need to bring it back afterwards.
I think Eric's fine with it.
Which perks are the best on a weapon? That's a good question. Honestly, we just started playing this game.
We're total Call of Duty noobs. I mean, I know how crouch works.
Yeah.
Though I don't use it. Maybe I should.
Also, what are the test testing? You guys using a 2080 Ti? Yes, that's correct. So I'm using a 2080 Ti and Jazz using the 1660 Super.
So what you're seeing right now, that's my point of view.
The rest of the specs are somewhat comparable, right? It has the same amount of RAM. It has a similar CPU.
Except you have, we actually have the same CPU, the 9700K.
Yeah, there you go. So I'm actually using
16 gigabyte of RAM.
Yeah, both. I'm actually using the Trident X. So that's a relatively small system with a 2080 Ti in there. And Jazz using an Infinite X. And by the name X, that pretty much means that you, you have high specs.
Yeah. Except right now, of course, we place a 1660 Ti in there because normally that's not in the Infinite X.
Exactly. There's a higher end GPU in there usually. But I replaced it for a 1660 Super because, of course, that's what we want to show. Oh, nice.
Jesus, finally. The 1660 Super is coming closer and closer.
Yeah. What are the Firestrike scores, Edwin? I don't know. You can check multiple media review sites that will do reviews that will give you detailed specs. Like that, detailed benchmarks, but synthetic benchmarks are nice. But you know, for games they don't really tell the full story. So usually we tend to focus more on the games because we want to give the best possible image of how do these cards perform in games, because we expect that's where most people will be using them.
Oh, and green box, I set 9700K. So the Infinite X and the Trident X, they will both come in 9700K and 9900K.
Oh. How many times did I hit you, dude?
Once.
Really? On my screen, it was like non-stop.
Oh, that headshot.
Yep. Nice. All right, back to
shotgun again.
Back to the shotgun. Right up the middle.
Sneaky, sneaky.
I'm not even trying, they're saying. Maybe not. I'm not gonna try hard. I want to keep it interesting, and I think Ja's doing the exact same thing. Oh, you got around with that weapon. Nice.
Yes, actually, I was just pre-firing.
Yep.
See?
I see that. Yeah. So it was predictable, I guess.
Well, sometimes you gotta try your luck. Now I'm trying to implement the CSGO tactics here.
Really?
Yes. Sniper. 360 no scope?
360 no scope.
Shit.
I don't know. You did a 360.
Yes. And there was no scope.
Well, there was a bit of scoping for me. There you go.
Shot me right in the butt. Oh, I felt that.
Are the Ubisoft games the frame rate eaters? It's hard to say. It really differs per game, doesn't it? So it's really hard to say.
Oh, this is a click, click, click. I thought it was an automatic rifle.
It is, as long as you keep clicking.
Yeah, but I did, but it didn't shoot. I had to...
Clickety click. Yeah, not
match
hold
point
down.
again? Oh shit, it's 45. Alright.
I think it was match point, yeah, I can win this now.
Match point for you.
That's correct.
No!
Oh!
I hit you like 30 times.
Not on my screen. Here's the thing. That's neat. When you're used to 360 noob scope, I like that. When you're used to games like Counter-Strike, you know afterwards you can see how much damage did you actually do, how many shots connected. In this game, it doesn't really tell you. You don't have a health bar or something. You know, you just have like this red splash effect that tells you you're being hit. You know, and if you get hit too many times, you die.
And so it is, yes.
Yeah, but it's 2-0.
Tomorrow, forget about it, so...
Exactly.
It's not like anybody saw it.
No,
right?
no. Nobody cared.
There's
right?
no record.
This didn't happen.
It's not like this is going to end up on YouTube or something.
Yeah. It's not like you can clip it on Twitch and
Exactly. So
make it a thing.
nothing's happening right now.
This is like Mortal Kombat all over again, isn't
But
it?
it's okay. You play well, Peter.
Well, respect there, bro.
GG, well played. Next time better.
Exactly. Anyway, yeah. So that's I think that's pretty much it for this stream, guys. So if you have any questions left about this GPU or this graphics card in total, I hope we answered most of the questions. I also hope we addressed most of the questions in the chat.
Yeah.
Even when they were not related to this specific product. But yeah, thank you guys for joining. Also, thank you guys for helping each other out in the chat, for answering each other's questions.
We had a blast.
That's awesome. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, what are we gonna do next week?
Well, next week we're gonna have a nice little stream about Intel
Overclocking.
CPU, and you can learn a lot
It's been a
about
while
overclocking.
since we were talking about Intel CPUs, right? It's
Actually,
for
yeah.
the past few weeks or
It's
months.
really
It's
been
all,
the
all
red
been,
team.
Yeah, all been about X570 and
X570 Ryzen.
yeah. It's
So,
been the AMD show, so
in case you
time
forgot
for a bit
about
of balance.
Intel, yeah,
Time for a
next
bit of
week
balance.
it's time for the blue team once again.
Exactly, and how to get the most out of those CPUs, which is always good for you guys. So yeah, we hope to catch you guys next week, and
Yeah, had a really nice time with you guys. So hope to see you next time again.
exactly.
All right,
See you guys next week. Goodbye.
Cheers.